Imagine this. It's a scorching hot summer night. The fan is running at full speed. The TV is on. Your phone is charging. The Wi-Fi is working. Everything feels completely normal. Then suddenly, boom, the electricity goes out. Now logically, the room should go dark. The fan should stop. The TV should switch off. Everything should freeze in an instant. But that's not what happens. The lights stay on. The fan keeps spinning. The Wi-Fi doesn't disconnect. And someone calmly says, "Relax, the inverter is on." Sounds completely normal, right? But wait, have you ever stopped for just 1 second and thought about what actually happened? Because if the electricity from outside has already disappeared, then where is the electricity inside your house coming from? Is the inverter secretly creating electricity? Is the battery storing power inside it like water inside a bottle? Or is something much smarter happening behind the scenes? Here's the shocking truth. Almost everything most people believe about an inverter is only half the story. Because an inverter doesn't magically create electricity. Not even a single unit. In fact, the real story begins long before the blackout ever happens. While you're watching TV, charging your phone, or simply relaxing, your inverter is already working quietly in the background. And next question, if the inverter isn't creating electricity, then who is actually keeping your house alive? So, if the inverter isn't creating electricity, then where is all this power actually coming from? The obvious answer is the battery, but here's where almost everyone gets fooled. Most people imagine a battery like a water tank, believing electricity simply sits inside waiting to come out. Sounds reasonable, but it's completely wrong. A battery doesn't store ready-made electricity at all. What it really stores is chemical energy. Inside a typical lead-acid battery are positive and negative plates surrounded by an electrolyte. When the battery is charging, a chemical reaction locks energy inside those materials. And when the power goes out, that exact reaction reverses, releasing the stored energy as DC electricity. That's why a battery can be charged, discharged, and charged again thousands of times. It isn't a box full of electricity. It's a miniature chemical power plant waiting for the right moment to wake up. Here's the part almost nobody knows. Even while you're sitting comfortably with electricity available in your home, the inverter isn't sleeping. It's already preparing for the next blackout without making a single sound. And what it's secretly doing before the power even fails is the reason your lights never seem to notice the blackout. That's where the real story begins. Here's the biggest plot twist in this entire story. Most people believe the inverter starts working after the power goes out. But the truth is, by the time you notice the blackout, the inverter has already been working for hours. Every second, while you're watching TV, scrolling on your phone, or sleeping peacefully, it's silently monitoring the incoming electricity. At the same time, it's checking the battery's condition and making sure it's always ready for an emergency. And charging the battery isn't as simple as plugging in a charger. A smart inverter constantly measures the battery's voltage, current, and charging level. If the battery is low, it charges faster. As it gets closer to full, it gradually slows the charging process to protect the battery from overheating and damage. This intelligent charging system is one of the biggest reasons a battery can last for years instead of wearing out quickly. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for. Suddenly, the electricity from the grid disappears. To you, it feels instant, but inside the inverter, an incredible process begins. A sensing circuit constantly monitors the incoming AC supply. The moment it detects that the voltage has dropped or disappeared, it reacts within just a few milliseconds. The inverter disconnects your home from the grid and instantly switches the load to the battery. That's why your fan keeps spinning, your Wi-Fi stays connected, and your TV barely skips a frame. But here's the surprising part. The battery is only supplying 12 volts DC in many systems. Some use 24 or 48 volts, but that's still nowhere near the 230 volts AC your home appliances need. So how can such a small voltage suddenly power an entire room? Is the inverter multiplying electricity? Not at all. The real answer is far more impressive, and this is where the true magic of electronics begins. Have you ever noticed something strange? Most of the time, you don't even think about your inverter. It quietly sits in a corner, making almost no sound and asking for almost nothing. Yet every single second, It is silently watching the incoming electricity, checking the battery's condition, and making sure everything is ready for the next power cut. The moment the electricity disappears, the inverter reacts within just a few milliseconds. It instantly disconnects from the grid, switches to the battery, converts the battery's DC electricity into AC, boosts the voltage to around 230 volts, and safely powers your essential appliances. This entire process happens so quickly that your lights barely flicker, your fan keeps spinning, and most people never even realize that a complete change of... Have you ever wondered why an inverter is so important today? We use electricity for almost everything in our daily lives. A modern inverter doesn't just provide backup during a power cut. It also charges the battery efficiently and helps use stored energy more effectively. While it doesn't create electricity or guarantee lower electricity bills, it delivers power reliably whenever you need it most. That's why an inverter has become an essential part of millions of homes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification.